Now, a special presentation from 12 News.
Hello, I'm Mike Montecalvo, and welcome to our Street Story special. We're here at Blythewold Mansion in Bristol, where the holiday spirit is alive and well. This historic mansion decked out with beautiful lights and decorations. Please visit between now and January. Over the next half hour, we'll explore stories of perseverance, faith, and love that truly captured the very best over the last year. First, an amazing story. Thompson Middle School physical education teacher and Portsmouth coach Mike Brennan waited for years for a brand new heart. Why this holiday season, he's especially happy for the gift of life.
Feeling good, walking every day. I'm up to about 5 miles a day. I walk in the morning, walk in the afternoon, walk at night, just trying to build my stamina up and get back to real life.
One word, amazing.
I try to do about 1.5 miles at a time.
That describes the remarkable recovery of Thompson Middle School phys ed teacher and Portsmouth coach Mike Brennan after receiving a heart transplant just 4 weeks ago.
I miss my kids, I miss teaching, miss coaching. I'm just trying to get back to everybody in a real way.
Mike tells me his heart was failing for the past 15 years and in the end was so damaged, his doctor said he was going to die if he didn't get a new one.
He said, if we didn't do this, you wouldn't have made it to Christmas. And that was sobering, thinking about the fact that I might have, left my family at any time.
A man of faith, Mike says he's grateful for his new lease on life and the community that was there for his family. You're lying in the hospital bed and you're watching the first story we did. The kids are lined up on the football field in a circle. You see your son and wife talking. What's going through your mind?
You're going to get me here, Mike. An overwhelming sense of being grateful for the community I live in, for the family I have, for the love and support of all my friends.
Mike, filled with emotion, says his friend Emily described it best.
What you're seeing is your echo, What you're feeling is your echo. What you put out in the community to the kids and all the love that you put without any designs on return.
It also made Coach Brennan realize no man is a failure who has friends.
I felt a little bit like George Bailey from It's a Wonderful Life. In the end, sorry. When he gets to see how lucky he is.
Mike knows his second chance is on the back of another family's worst day, and he says it's a lot to carry, but he's not going to disappoint them.
His death will not be in vain, that I will do my best to honor him.
Coach Brennan knows getting his new heart was no small feat and will always be grateful for his new lease on life.
I can't help but strut.
Happy to hold his wife's hand again and cherish every moment with his family.
If this went the other way for me, who gets to walk out of here with more love in their back pocket than I had? Everyone should be so lucky.
Mike has since returned to doing what he loves so much. Well, winter is here, and one local man and his daughter are doing what they can to help struggling families keep warm, and they're doing it one scarf at a time. An ordinary utility pole draped with a picture and free scarves. Free to anyone who can't afford to buy one. Above it, a picture of a man who started it all. On the sidewalk, a father and sister.
This one will be all set now, right here.
Who's keeping his memory alive. Lenny Nicolin spends his days managing the St. Vincent de Paul thrift store. Due to the increased need in Fall River, Lenny ties donated scarves around 3 poles now in the city, including this one in front of the store and a pole outside the Tomeo Overflow Shelter on Bay Street, providing something free for those who've hit a rough patch in life.
Last year I had, I want to say, at least 1,000 scarves, if not more. Now I'm down, I'm going to say probably to, I don't think I got 100 left.
The 86-year-old is continuing a 6-year tradition started by his daughter Kim and late son Michael, who lost his life to a brain tumor in 2017. Mr. Nicolin says Michael's life was his family and helping people in need. Working side by side with his son at the store was a gift.
When I walk in that store on Pleasant Street, there's 2 desks there. He occupied one and I occupied the other one. There was still some paperwork left on his desk. He'd light up a room no matter where we go. There was times I would say to myself, my God, I wish I was like him.
Kim Nicholin is proud of her dad and says giving out free scarves is gratifying.
It makes them feel special. It puts a smile on their face. It's free. They don't have to go and ask for anything. They can just go take it. That just gives them a sense of being thought of. They're not the forgotten people.
There are so many people on the margins that feel that they're forgotten.
Especially right now with COVID. I mean, you can have a family that is not homeless, that is living in a house, and they don't have money for a scarf.
The idea has touched people all over the world.
We actually have a woman who lives in California, and she sends me a box every other week that she's hand knitted these scarves. Just from her alone, over 200 scarves.
It is said that good-hearted people always put their heart and soul into everything. Words Mr. Nicholin lives by every day.
As long as the guy upstairs, way up, lets me have my strength and energy, I intend to do that for the rest of my life.
The pandemic has forced all of us to change the way we do business, including TV. For the last 14 months, one 12 News reporter turned her home into a newsroom.
Having a smooth and rapid vaccine rollout is the key to
reporting in a pandemic from inside your apartment.
And large portions of our most vulnerable populations unserved.
So how's it been for you? It's been almost a year now doing this.
You know, it's been an adjustment when your workplace is also your home.
Alexandra Leslie, 12 News.
Despite working from home, 12 News reporter Alexandra Leslie is still plugged into the community.
This trend will only continue to get worse.
I have the computer, I can edit everything at home, I can shoot everything at home as far as, you know, me being on camera.
Appearing live on 12 News this morning and conducting Zoom interviews, Alexandra, like hundreds of other reporters, working outside of the newsroom to help flatten the curve. But it's also personal. At the age of 4, Alex was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, a life-threatening disorder that damages your lungs and digestive system.
I know what it's like not to be able to breathe. So knowing that this virus was something that caused people to be on a ventilator, that was enough for me to make the decision to be home.
Alex tells me she went almost 8 months before seeing her parents.
What's that been like, knowing that you have CF, that you can't leave?
It's been hard. You know, you see people who are out and about, not even like people who are going on vacations during the pandemic, but just people who are going to a grocery store. I'd love to pick up my own groceries one day in the store.
Something better than comfort food to get her through long days, her small 4-legged buddy, Eddie.
Eddie has been my best friend. He's always been there for me no matter what time of day it is, and he's been such a source of comfort.
Alex says the hardest part is not being able to be on the scene of breaking news, but that hasn't stopped her from doing meaningful stories.
And I think one of the stories I really enjoyed the most doing that was talking with a girl like me who has cystic fibrosis, knowing that she's going through the same thing, doing school remotely, I'm doing work remotely, and we just kind of had that connection.
Alexandra is hoping to get the vaccine next month, betting on life to look familiar again, knowing every day is a gift.
But it is hard thinking that like you have limited time. But I think that where we are now with the medication and drugs that's available, the life expectancy has just dramatically increased.
Alex was recently selected as Employee of the Year by her colleagues at 12 News, an honor she truly deserved. Rhode Island has thousands of historic homes like this one here in Bristol at Blythewold. There's also thousands of historical cemeteries like number 96 in West Greenwich. The people buried there could be related to a famous billionaire. An ungated path deep into the woods, leading to an unexpected discovery.
We had no idea, when we bought the place that was there, so at first it was just kind of a shock, like the cemetery on our land, that's kind of weird. Oh yeah, we'll give you a sign and everything.
Brian Page recently bought this piece of property in West Greenwich. On it, historical cemetery number 96, overgrown and forgotten for more than a century. Family and friends spending a weekend clearing out trees, overgrown brush, moving stumps, picking up branches and rocks to restore this sacred ground to its proper glory.
And so a lot of these stones are knocked over, some of them completely knocked over or tipped. It's like you don't even actually know where some of the people are. Yeah, it's a nice little site we have out here, and we just wanted to take care of it. So, I mean, my mom maybe wants to start getting flowers to put out here and everything just to really keep it up.
A now revitalized resting place with the last name on the gravestones matching one of the country's wealthiest people.
When you find a cemetery, you have no idea who's buried in it yet, do you?
No, we had no idea. Some of the gravestones are hard to read, but we started reading them and we didn't really think anything of the last name Gates on it until we got in touch with the Historical Cemetery Society here, and she just left an offhanded comment in the email saying she had heard that maybe it was related to Bill Gates from Microsoft.
But the names on the headstones prompted Brian to dig for clues. His research on Ancestry.com and several other sources linked Israel Gates as billionaire Bill Gates' great-great-great-grandfather. Also buried on the property, Seth and Zachariah Gates.
All three of those names popped up on his family tree on all the sources we had checked. That's how we really found out it was in fact Bill Gates' family.
So what goes through your mind when you're seeing Gates and now you're figuring out that they're related to Bill Gates?
Well, at first we were just kind of surprised. We thought it was like crazy. Like, what are the odds that we buy a house, have no idea cemetery's here, and then, it's related to Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the world.
Margaret Malcolm, chair of the Rhode Island Historical Cemetery Commission, tells me there are more than 3,200 historical cemeteries, from small family burial grounds to landscape garden cemeteries. One is on Brian's land.
Anything else famous on your property?
I don't know.
Money buried somewhere?
Yeah, I guess we'll start digging, just obviously not in the cemetery.
What's it going to take to get Bill Gates back here?
Who knows? Hopefully, maybe he'll see this story. He'll come visit. We'll cook him dinner and everything, and we'll bring him out here if he wants to come see it.
Coming up next, we'll introduce you to a Special Olympics Rhode Island athlete who's keeping busy turning money into honey. Plus, from birdhouses to Bristol, more inspirational street stories coming up.
Welcome back to a special presentation from 12 News. These are Street Stories.
For the second year in a row, Special Olympics State Summer Games were canceled due to COVID-19, but one local athlete kept busy turning honey into money.
You don't want bees stinging you. These things are gaiters. Protect your feet. Let me put the actual suit on.
Suiting up to stay protected.
What we would do for a street story, right? Ian told me I had to put this on. So here I am.
Working hard is part of Ian Shepard's DNA.
Yeah, beekeeping is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. Now we're gonna go into the hive.
Besides his job at the Castle Hill Inn, he cares for a number of beehives on the island.
I smoke these bees.
Including several at his parents' home in Newport. Step one, convincing the bees their hive is on fire.
They'll be mad. What happens when they get mad?
They'll attack you.
Okay, so we don't want them to get mad.
Yeah.
We want happy bees, Ian.
Yes, we do.
The bees flying in and out, bringing pollen and nectar from trees and flowers. The worker bees storing the honey. The drone bees, well, they have a different job.
That's a drone bee. That's the male bee, and they mate with the queen. They go out on a mating flight.
They go looking for dates.
No, they don't.
The queen lays a white particle called larvae.
Is that the one with the little blue?
Yeah, she's the queen.
There, that's the queen right there?
Yeah.
So what is she doing?
She's finding a place to lay her eggs.
Once harvested, Ian bottles the honey and sells it. Partial proceeds benefit Special Olympics. His dad, Mike, tells me his son takes everything seriously.
And about 10 years ago, he said, "Dad, remember you used to have honeybees? Let's start it up again." I said, "Oh, God." I said, "Okay, start reading up on it and YouTube it and everything." He did.
Ian is also a decorated athlete, winning dozens of medals. He proudly represented Special Olympics Rhode Island in Japan, South Korea, Canada, and the United States. Next January, he hopes to compete in the skiing competition at the Winter World Games in Russia.
Doing the best you can. You're not going to get a gold medal a lot in every event, but you're going to go out there and try your best.
Inspiring all of us, whether it's on the slopes or in his parents' backyard. A local man born with Down syndrome is inspiring people to open their hearts to the possibilities, and he's doing it one birdhouse at a time.
All right, bud, so just do your job like you always do your job. Okay.
It's a job Jared Corbett takes great pride in at Lee's Market in Westport. From grabbing carriages and baskets to making sure everything is in place. Jared loves what he does, but you see, that's part of what makes Jared tick. The 41-year-old is also an entrepreneur.
How's that going?
Good.
Selling birdhouses he's personally painted. Is this fun for you?
Yes.
Why?
Me to get paid.
So far, Jared has sold more than 550 birdhouses. It started when an employee at the market saw Jared's work at a craft fair. So what do people say when they come up to you when they want a birdhouse?
Buy it.
Oh, they just want to buy it?
Yeah.
Now, do you put your autograph on there too?
Yeah. Down to the bottom.
Jared's dad, Bill, could not be more proud of his son. So when you see him signing autographs, what goes through your mind?
Like, wow, what an opportunity he has. He has made a connection with most people he meets. So he's a very popular guy. You know, it's one of those proud moments. How do you describe that? That's my son signing autographs.
Another proud moment, Jared becoming a third-degree black belt in karate. Bill says his son is part of a larger movement for those with disabilities.
He's got a valued role in life. It's not the old days where he was set aside and you know, nice job. He does a great job, and people respect that for who he is, and we couldn't be more proud.
Just as important, painting the birdhouses is a team effort. Does he make you help out?
Yes, yes. I get a lot of direction. So we always decide the colors. What are we going to do? His mom has input, believe me, in terms of the colors. We sometimes disagree with her, right?
Yeah.
But she usually wins, and I end up helping out with some of the finer painting points, if you will.
Jared is also a generous soul, donating part of his earnings to those who need it more.
I like to help out.
Oh, you like to help out?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because of the donation.
A donation that comes from the heart. Coming up, running and rowing Boston. How one man did the Boston Marathon twice this year to raise money and awareness for a disease that has taken those he loved.
Welcome back to a special presentation from 12 News. These are Street Stories.
This year's Boston Marathon taking place on Columbus Day in October, but the delay did not stop one local man from running Boston and doing a unique exercise, all for a cause close to his heart. Rowing and running Boston. Sounds crazy? Not to this Woonsocket man who hopes to shed some light on the dark world of Alzheimer's.
In addition to running the Boston course, at the top of Heartbreak Hill, I'm going to get onto a rowing machine and row a marathon as well. So 42,000 meters in the middle of running the Boston course.
Blaze will then jump off and finish the 26.2-mile route on Boylston Street. As part of the November project, Stephen and others have combined their love for exercising to keep fit.
2 diamonds, we're getting 2 push-ups on this side.
Pre-COVID, more than 150 people ran at the Rhode Island State House. Once the pandemic hit, a smaller crowd on the pedestrian bridge. Now they're back.
Air high five.
Blaze says he hopes adding the erg rowing machine into the mix, which he's been training on for months, will gain some attention. So Alzheimer's is close to your heart, obviously.
Alzheimer's is very close to my heart.
As you're running and you're on this rower, do you think about your mom and your family members?
100%. They're never far from my mind. To be able to do this in their memory and to help support those who will need that support, it means the world to me.
Stephen knows the pain of Alzheimer's, which robbed the memories of his mom, both grandmothers, and several aunts and uncles, most before 65. When you're thinking of your family members, do you think of yourself, that maybe someday I'll be there too?
It's inevitable that's on my mind. Genetically, my family is predisposed to Alzheimer's disease. I always worry about it, but I know that living every minute the best that I can is the way that I need to combat it.
In our 12 on 12 digital original last year, Dr. Stephen Salloway at Butler Hospital told me several promising research trials are taking place in Providence, and we could find a cure in our lifetime. Blaze says to be a part of helping find our first Alzheimer's survivor would make this all worth it.
And when you cross the finish line, what are you going to be thinking about?
I'm going to be thinking about my mom. She's always there. She's always on my mind. I'm going to be thinking about how I do this for her memory, and how I wish I could have that opportunity to celebrate this with her.
Stephen will continue his marathon streak. He plans to run the London Marathon in October. Thank you very much for spending the last half hour with us. We hope we made you smile, inspired you, as a reminder of the tenacity of the human spirit. For our producer, Jen Quinn, our chief videographer, John Villela, I'm Mike Montecalvo at Blythewold Mansion in Bristol.